SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. A revised spending bill averting a partial government shutdown at midnight and suspending the government debt limit for 2 years has gone down to defeat in the House. Several dozen Republicans joining Democrats in voting that bill down. Parts of the Midwest have been digging out from a half foot of fresh snow. Snow, bitter, cold, and ice impacting travel at a very busy time of the year. Parts of the Great Lakes also getting blasted by winter-like weather. Winter officially arrives tomorrow. Now facing federal and state charges, the accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is jailed in New York. Luigi Mangione could face a death sentence if he's found guilty. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are sharply lower. The Dow futures are down 228 points, while the NASDAQ futures are off close to 300 points. More details, srnnews.com.
So right now, it may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 31st and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 31st. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number, 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Bright sunshine today with daytime highs approaching 43. Southeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows level off around 23. Ample sunshine expected tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 55. Daytime highs approaching 65 Sunday under mainly sunny skies. 55 Monday. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 55 Tuesday, 53 Wednesday, and 47 on Thursday. Another look at the short range, a high of 43 today, low of 23 tonight. We should top out at 55 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 12 degrees.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
From sugar cookie crumbs in the kitchen to pine needles under the tree, count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Power up the holiday and give a gift from the top of their wish list. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Was $159.99 MSRP. Includes battery and charger. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Natural gas is a safe, efficient fuel for your home. On its own, natural gas has no smell. That's why, for your safety, we odorize natural gas pipeline. That distinctive rotten egg smell could be a sign that you have a gas leak. If you have a compromised sense of smell, consider purchasing a methane detector. If you suspect a leak, don't touch light switches, use phones, or anything that could cause a spark. Get everyone out of the building immediately and call Midwest Energy. A safety message from Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The year-end clearance is on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Settle in and stay connected with Nextech Wireless and a device on us. Choose from the newest iPhone 16, the Samsung Galaxy S24, or a new tablet on us. Get an extra $100 with your device trade-in, no matter the condition. Nextech Wireless, home on the range.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time. But the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and FNB Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work. They run the counter right side. Estimate behind Powers into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. 3-yard touchdown run by Audric Estimate. His first rushing touchdown of his career.
Pass Julian Grimes to Libero. Long shoot set. Tip shot Taylor Trammell. They rarely use the middles. This time Huskers bigger. Right side shot. Near patient. Kaboom. It's 18-17 Big Red.
Keeps it. Throws a ball to the end zone. Pass caught. Touchdown, Denver. Rookie to rookie. Next to Vele. 6 points for the Broncos.
Herbert fades back, steps up, shovel pass, flip forward, goes to Haskins. He's got the first 25-20, makes the man miss 15, 10-5, touchdown Chargers!
And good Friday morning, everybody. We're off and rolling here on the Morning Blitz on this December the 20th. A cool 20 degrees outside to get our day started on our way to a high of 45 here in the tri-state region. So glad you decided to spend some time with us here this morning. As always, the FB Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. Number part of the Morning Blitz, and get your thoughts and comments in throughout a full show today. We will be discussing a very interesting case in college athletics, where it could be a chance where kids who go the junior college route may not have to go. That may not count towards their years in college as a collegiate athlete. What does that mean for the future? We'll get to that coming up here in segment 2. It's a very, very busy sports weekend with so much going on, whether it's the Holiday Classic today for the girls or the boys tomorrow, or just the basketball slate. It's the last hurrah of 2024 before we go into the winter break and the winter moratorium. And then it is full sprint from pretty much January 2nd onward when it comes to our sports. Speaking of local sports last night, Golden Plains boys and girls basketball sweep St. Francis. Girls winning 45-34, and boys winning with a 47-40 victory last night there in basketball. Also, some wrestling from last night. Had a couple of duels. Colby boys beat Goodland 53-23. Colby girls also beat Goodland 49-18. Hoxie took on Plainville in duels, both boys and girls. Hoxie boys won 67-6. Hoxie girls lost to Plainville, though, 46-18. And Colby Community College edging Otero 25-24, kicking off a very busy local sports weekend. For those who don't know, I'm Ross Volkmer. Max Gershon is with us as well. Good morning, Maxwell. How are we today?
Fantastic, Ross. We're doing pretty good. Excited for a fun Friday, a little 2-hour drive here, and kind of
Max will be in Cimarron here. Well, you'll have to tell you what. Shout out Cimarron High School, and particularly Cimarron's. I don't know whoever was in charge of this athletic department or whatever. But, we had our season opener, Goodland did, down in Cimarron. And so I got a chance to sit in their newly designed media area, which I got to say was fantastic. For a high school gym and a high school facility to do that was great. And I think even though it may not be like, it's not super, super fancy, but for what you could do to help out and give kind of media their own little space, because it used to be they used to sit up on the mezzanine area and they used to have risers to help see over things. Then they kind of just took out a couple of rows in the center of the bleachers there at Cimarron High and gave it to the media, and they kind of walled it off so that, it's kind of partitioned away from the fans. It's great. You're going to like that setup, I think, tonight, Max. So shout out to Cimarron. That's fantastically well done. Comfortable chairs, which was great. You'll enjoy the nice comfy chairs they have. They swivel and they're cushioned, so you should enjoy your time in Cimarron for the 2-hour trip you'll make down there.
Well, if anyone else is coming down and they see me swiveling up there in my nice chair, make sure to come and say hi. And I'm excited. Going to be another fun night of basketball. I love some Friday night basketball. So, pumped up, feeling good.
Last one of the year for 2024.
Crazy.
So we will get into some more thoughts on our games in our final segment of the day. We'll get to that and what else to expect here in the local sports weekend that is ahead. What did you watch last night, or were you playing Fortnite? I have to know, what were you doing last night? Was it Fortnite?
I was watching the Broncos.
You were watching the Broncos?
Yeah, okay. I was watching the Broncos.
You watched the Broncos pee it down their leg after taking a really nice win. Really nice lead into the halftime, although there was some interesting shenanigans at the end of the first half with the first ever free kick.
That was, I know you loved that. I loved it.
I love that.
Fantastic.
You know the reason why I love that is because Jim Harbaugh knew that rule.
Of course.
That is why Jim Harbaugh is a fantastic coach. There are football coaches out there in the NFL that have no clue what the heck happened. And Jim Harbaugh's like, well, 48 years ago, you could do that, and that's still a rule. I checked the rule book, this year. I read the rule book cover to cover while I was in my RV down by the beach getting ready for this season. I read the rule book every year. I'm making all this up, but I could just see Harbaugh saying it, and we knew about it, and by golly, we got the penalty, and we kicked the free kick 3 points.
Kyle Shanahan wouldn't have known about that if he didn't know the overtime rules in the Super Bowl. I'm
probably
sure
not
known. So that's you're making a good point. But yeah, that was awesome, and that really just took all the momentum the Broncos had going into half and just shot it out the stadium at SoFi. That really hurt, and good for the Chargers. I mean, I was watching like the post game, and I'm like, I don't feel like I've seen Justin Herbert do a lot of post game shows because usually he's on a heartbreaking end to a prime time loss, but that wasn't the case last night. And now it's kind of trouble in Broncos country, Ross, because I was going through some different playoff on the playoff machine on ESPN, which has been a great and useful part of that website forever now. They're in some trouble. I feel like if you're a Broncos fan, you kind of want the Chiefs to win these next two, because then they're going to bench their starters and you're going to have a nice, probably easy win against them in week 18. But they got the Bengals next week. I know the Bengals would need some more help, but Broncos are now in a lot more trouble than I think people thought in the last 2 weeks of the season.
FNB Bank text line open and hot this morning with our Denver fans. Fan Michael, the defense was Swiss cheese the whole game. Coach gave up on the run in the second half. Not surprising the game went the way it did. Maybe the team will wake up now, is what Michael says. Yeah, Broncos pooed the bed, according to Jared. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. He also says he's going to yank your get out of jail free card. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, last night Broncos get up to a 21-13 lead at half. They were up 21-10 before that, crazy into that, and then the fourth quarter completely fell apart. They are outscored 15-3. Bo Nix was okay. I mean, 29 of 40. I think that's actually pretty good with 2 touchdowns and no picks, which was big. Like they said, they ran the ball good early, but just did not do anything late in the game to melt the clock. Got infatuated with the passing game, which can happen.
So,
and the chart, this was a lot of points last night too. You know, 2 very good defenses. Top 10 defense. This is a lot of points scored last night. And I do have a fun stat from Parker Gabriel, who was a beat writer for the Denver Broncos on the Denver Post. He said the first 2 offensive possessions. This comes with the running game, by the way. 11 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. The final 8 offensive possessions for Broncos runners, 10 carries for 37 yards. Just completely gave up on the run. Completely.
They did 100%, and they were dominating with the run, especially in that first drive. And they had like 5 backs out there. But I'm on the playoff machine right now, and it's looking like, okay, so if the Broncos, let's say they lose out. Then they're in some trouble. They can still make it losing out. They would need the Bengals to lose 1 game, I believe. And if the Bengals, there's a lot that goes into it. But
I think I read there's still a 71% chance. Is that what it is? No, still 85% chance they make the playoffs.
Because they control, and then so I mean, the Bengals, let's say they lose to the Steelers in Week 18, the Broncos still lose out, and the Colts even can win both games. They have the tiebreaker, so the Broncos would be the 7th seed. But the Bengals win out, and the Broncos lose out. You're in some trouble.
I mean, it was a big missed opportunity. It really was. It was a chance to win. But you know what? Who needed it more? San Diego needed it. Sorry, San Diego. I don't know why I said that. The Chargers needed it more. They needed it more. They wanted it more, and they showed it in the second half.
They did. They really adjusted well. I mean, credit to Harbaugh, because that's a game that the Chargers lose in previous years. Definitely.
Is he the best football coach? Jim
Harbaugh?
Yeah.
In the NFL?
Well, usually you would consider the NFL being kind of the pinnacle of football. So maybe in football? I mean, I know Andy Reid is good. Don't get me wrong. He's a very good offensive mind. But I'm talking like knowing the game of football, clock management, all that stuff. I feel like Harbaugh is the king. I don't know why. It's just my gut feeling.
I would give it to Andy Reid still.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'd
give it to Andy.
There's been some situations, I think, where Andy Reid, didn't do great with the clock management and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm not saying Harbaugh is immune to all that as well, but I just find it fascinating.
Definitely.
Once again, that whole free kick thing just put him to another level. To know that rule that hadn't been used in pretty much half a century, to put it out there and get 3 points. Not that it really actually mattered, in the final score. But at the same time, like you said, that took a whole lot of momentum at the Broncos.
Now we all
and shipped it out into the Pacific.
The only thing we need now is 1 point safety.
There you go.
We need the 1 point safety.
That would be great.
So I want the 1 point safety.
So anyway, last night, tough loss for the Broncos, 34-37 to the Chargers. Still an 85% chance to make the playoffs, but got to find a way to win at Cincinnati or at home against Kansas City.
It's a light 85. It's a light. The 85. The 85 gets a lot better. I'm telling you, Broncos fans, that 85 feels a lot better if the Chiefs win on Saturday and win on Christmas Day. It feels a lot better because they're not going to play their starters against you guys. It's going to be Carson Wentz and Nico Remigio running out there against your starters. So I'd be a Chiefs fan. I'm sorry, Broncos Nation, Broncos country. I'd want the Chiefs to win the next two just so you feel a little safer.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, that was the Broncos last night. That was not the only heartbreak last night. Boy, anybody who watched the collegiate volleyball Final Four, boy, that was entertaining. Louisville in the first game. So I tuned in to watch some of this last night. So in the first game, which started early, Louisville and Pitt faced off, Max, and Pitt just came out of the gates and just looked like a world beater. I mean, everything they were hitting was completely going to the floor, and Louisville just looked like they didn't stand a chance in the first set. And then Louisville was able to scrap out the second, get into the locker room, got a quick retool, got refreshed, and came out and won the last two sets to take down Pitt. Did Louisville in their own home gym, which was where they were playing there in Louisville, Kentucky, which was cool. And anyway, so they win that one 4-1, even without one of their best players who I think rolled an ankle or tweaked a knee in that match. So that was impressive resiliency from Louisville. And then in the nightcap, Nebraska and Penn State. Nebraska got up 2-0, and Penn State won the third set. Nebraska led 22-16 in set number 4. Remember, you only got to get to 25 to win it. And Penn State came all the way back, won set 4, and then took set 5 to end the Cornhuskers season there in set 5, 15-13. Heartbreak for the Huskers, but a highly entertaining volleyball match last night between those two programs. That was good. And that was really, really entertaining volleyball. I know some people, I'm sure, listening watched that last night because it was very entertaining. It's edge of your seat stuff. And for the first time ever in college volleyball, there will be 2 women head coaches facing off in the finals, which is amazing to me. First time ever.
That is very amazing. I would have expected that to happen.
2024.
Yeah, that is a phrase we're used to. That's a phrase we're used to, though, Ross. Heartbreak for the Huskers.
Yes, you're right.
We're getting more and more accustomed to it.
A lot of heartbreak, but you had it. All I can say is you had a chance. You were up 22-16. You got to close that sucker out. You have to close that out. Had to do it. You're up 2-0. You got to close that sucker out. But you know what? Sometimes it's about playing for more than just a win. You know, from Louisville's perspective last night, their star player went out with an injury, and all of a sudden they started playing more inspired because of her. And Penn State's got a great story that they're rallied behind. Their head coach has cancer, was diagnosed with cancer in the season. If you watched last night, she had I don't know what they call it. It's not a skull cap, but she had a cap over her head because she has her head shaved, unfortunately, from cancer diagnosis, and she's in treatment. And they're playing for something more than just a volleyball match. They're playing for something more. I'm not saying that Nebraska doesn't have that, but not at the same level. And sometimes you have in a game of momentum, and it is the biggest game of momentum that you can find. Sometimes you need a little bit more to push you over the top. So anyway, still highly entertaining volleyball last night, despite Nebraska not making it to the championship. But you got Louisville and Penn State playing for the Women's National Championship on Sunday afternoon there from Kentucky. All right, rest of the first segment, I want to spend some time looking at the college football playoff bracket. We did this a few weeks or so ago, just looking at the bracket. But today, Max has been waiting eagerly, sitting on his hands to get to pick this college football playoff bracket. And so we will get it today. Games get going tonight with Indiana Notre Dame at 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time. If anybody has seen on social media, there is some beautiful white stuff happening right now in South Bend, Indiana. That's right. Snow in South Bend, Indiana, going to be fantastic. Many people have been hoping for that in the college football playoff. They're going to get it. People are, by the way, already lined up outside of campus there in South Bend to get in, to start getting filled in for the game. There is a ton of excitement for the first ever 12-team college football playoff game. But Indiana Notre Dame tonight, looking at, let's see, what is the spread for tonight's game? I'm guessing Golden Domers by 8.5. Pretty good spread there. What are your thoughts here as we pick the bracket here today?
Well, I actually just filled out my bracket on ESPN last night. So looking at what I have, I'm going to go off that for my picks today. And I've got Notre Dame winning this one. I think Notre Dame has proven that they can beat teams, or good teams, I should say, more than Indiana has this year. And I actually think Notre Dame's going to win this by by a large margin, and move on to face Georgia.
They're going to cover the 8.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I hope not. I hope it's close. I want a good game every single time, but that's just my gut feeling is saying that Notre Dame is going to win this by 2 scores.
I'll be intrigued. They've certainly been in a lot of big games. I mean, the schedule they play puts them in a lot of big games. Whether it was Texas A&M to open up the season, they play USC in the season ender. There were some other big games throughout the year that they've had against some pretty good competition. They're used to these big games. The thing that draws me back is Notre Dame, for some reason, always, and I guess they've already had that stinker against Northern Illinois. Remember, they lost that game. But the stinker game always comes at home. They always seem to stink one up at home. But once again, they've already got that out of the way. Does that mean that could happen again against Indiana? I don't know. I do not know. Indiana is going to go out there and play like they have absolutely no care. There's all the pressures on Notre Dame.
Definitely.
Look, they're a blue blood program. If you're Indiana, you can just go out there and say, forget about it. We're just going to go out here and just play like our hair's on fire and see what happens. We got nothing to lose. Nobody and their dog thought that Indiana was going to be in this situation come this time of year. But they're here, and Kurt Cignetti, I know, is going to play that card to the absolute fullest. They don't think we can be here. They don't think we should be here. They think we're going to get blown out of here. Let's just go out and play and see what happens. I think this game is actually pretty darn close. I really do. I think Indiana is going to give Notre Dame all they want. But I will take the Irish and Riley Leonard to squeak it out. But I do think this is going to be a really close game. I got the Hoosiers covering the 8.5.
Well, Kurt Cignetti and Marcus Freeman are 2 of my favorite coaches in college football, so I think both of them are gonna have their teams ready. But I think Notre Dame is the better football team, and I think they've proven. I know that I kind of forgot about the Northern Illinois loss. That was insane. That's one point after this is all the college football season's over, we got to go back and do maybe top 5 games of the season or something because that was a fun matchup to watch that upset happen.
That would make your top 5.
It just reminded me like there's some crazy games that happened this year. Vanderbilt beating Bama. I know we're gonna talk about that in a bit, but yeah, I forgot about that. That was crazy. Anyway, moving on to the next game. Next game will be at 11 o'clock Central, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Tomorrow, you've got Penn State at home against SMU. This is the game I probably feel the most confident in. Really? Which is stupid because who trusts James Franklin in big games? I don't know. Right. Nobody does. But this, to me, doesn't feel like a very big game. First and foremost, SMU has not played a single football game north of the Mason-Dixon line in a very long time. They just don't leave the South. It will be cold. This is an environment that they have not played in. Happy Valley is crazy. And the amount of people that they're going to play in, that is going to get to SMU. I have a feeling it will get to them. And so I do believe that Penn State is the team that advances out of that round. And they're an 8.5-point favorite as well. Now, there's a game I can get by and say they'll win by 10 or more. I'm with you. I mean, Penn State at home, too. It's going to be the whiteout. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. And I think, I just think Penn State is too talented. And at home with that crowd in the weather, it's going to be full advantage Penn State. SMU, they looked good against Clemson even in that loss. And I really like watching them play. I think their quarterback is really fun to watch. He's got a very interesting kind of arm angle that I noticed when they were playing Clemson. I haven't really watched a lot of them this year, but they're fun to watch. Penn State, I really like Drew Aller. Do I think this team, they have the easiest road, but do I think this team is going to make it all the way? No, because they're the bronze university of college football. They win the bronze medal if you're James Franklin every year. They come up short. So, but I think they're going to beat SMU, and they have a good chance against Boise State too. But for now, I'm confident in saying they'll beat SMU. So Penn State's there, my pick. 2 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Central Time. You've got Clemson at Texas. Currently, right now, the line is Texas by 10.5. Well, once again, Texas is no doubt, and I do mean no doubt, the hands-down favorite and the better team on paper. There's just something about this game, though. I don't know why I think this, but Dabo Swinney, being in a lot of playoff games, knows how to get his team ready.
This is another team like Penn State, Texas, that just sometimes just doesn't live up to the expectations. And probably the problem is I'm a Texas hater, but I'm not going to go against the Longhorns here. I will take the Longhorns to win, but for some reason, I feel like this game is probably going to be closer than the experts think.
It is going to be close. And I'm not seeing 10.5. I'm just not seeing 10.5. That's insane. Texas has not beaten the top 25 team. They just have not. They haven't. And I'm looking at the stats. I mean, Cade Klubnik, 8 more touchdowns, 4 less picks. I know ACC, it's different defenses they're going up against.
Yeah.
But I mean, all that they've got more passing yards, they've got more rushing yards, they've got more receiving yards. So I'm not seeing the 10.5 points. I think this is going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. And I wouldn't be surprised if Clemson takes this one. This is my upset in the first round. I have Clemson winning.
Really? The 12 over the 5. Oh, that would make
Horns.
me happy. That would make me so happy.
Down. I've got Clemson. I have Clemson. I think Dabo's going to win it. And that's going to make a lot of people upset too, because a lot of people don't like Dabo and a lot of people don't like Clemson. But I'm just saying, I think Texas is, especially after the Georgia game, I don't know. I think that Clemson has a very good football team that is kind of, I think, going to be playing their best football at the right time. And I've got Clemson upsetting Texas. And I might look back on this and Texas might win by 40. That's always a chance. But I'm a Texas hater too. So that goes into it as well.
Well, like I said, I hate Texas probably it's probably the team I hate the most, to be honest with you. But Clemson, I don't think they just have enough guns in the bullet chamber, enough horses to probably hang with Texas. So once again, though, if Texas thinks that's when Clemson gets you, and Texas is notorious for thinking we're better than everybody else, so we'll still win. And I don't know about that. And then you got in the nightcapper, the one that everyone's excited about, Tennessee, Ohio State from the Horseshoe there in Columbus. That is a 7 Central, 6 Mountain Time kick. Once again, I'm guessing, let's see, Ohio, who's got the favorite in this? Ohio State by 7. Wow. This game to me, I don't know exactly what to expect. Ohio State, the Michigan loss is perplexing, but like the Indiana beatdown is also perplexing considering that. I don't know if I don't know what to trust here, to be honest with you. I really, really don't. This game should be I think this game should be close. God, and Michigan won at Ohio State too. So I don't know. I wonder how interested Ohio State fans are in this game. I kind of wonder. And I wonder how many Tennessee fans are able to get in there. I don't know. This game to me has got me completely perplexed. What do you got in this? What did you pick in your bracket?
I'm so with you. Look, I want to say, and I'm going to say, you know what I'm going to say? I was thinking twice while you were talking, but I'm sticking with my gut. This will be Ryan Day's last game as an Ohio State coach. Rocky Top all the way past Ohio State. I love the Volunteers, especially after spending time in Tennessee this past summer. They've got a special place in my heart. And I've got Rocky Top going up against Ohio State, taking this one home in Ohio State. Ryan Day's gone. But there's also a scenario in my head, and this is what I was considering, of like, there's been so much controversy over Ohio State's head since that Michigan loss that they're like, they want to put this behind them and they're going to come out hungry and they're going to want to, play for their coach, I guess, if he still has, I'm sure they love him, I would hope they do. So I think that's still a possibility, but I'm going to go, this is kind of a heart over head kind of a pick for me. So I'm going Tennessee over Ohio State.
I'm going to go with Ohio State in this one, just because I think they play inspired football. After that loss to Michigan, they'll be mad. They'll be wanted to be inspired, and I think they take it out on Tennessee. So give me Ohio State to get it done. I think that's why I'm going to take that. Okay, so we got to move on here. We got to pick up the pace a little bit here. So that means we move ahead to what is the quarterfinals, December 31st, January 1st. You have Clemson, Arizona State. I've got Texas, Arizona State. I'm going to roll with Texas again. I think they get past Arizona State to make it into the Final Four. Are you going? You've got Clemson or Arizona State here?
I've got Arizona State. I've got Arizona State going to the Final Four in this tournament. I love Arizona State. I love everything they're doing, and I think they're going to continue to surprise people.
It's a great run by Arizona State this year, but I just think it's over after it's over in the first round. Oregon, who is the number 1 overall seed, just did not really get a great draw because no matter who wins between Tennessee and Ohio State, that's who Oregon gets. And honestly, it's not really fair for the number 1 team to get to face. That's who they face in the second game. A rematch of Oregon and Ohio State in the quarterfinals. Oh my. I mean, that game was so close and so entertaining up in Eugene. I still think, though, Oregon is going. I tell you the truth. What I'm fascinated to see, does a rest like Oregon has gotten, a resting time, and without any game, and then, getting that bye, how does it impact teams? I'm so fascinated to find that out.
Does targeting, are we still carrying that over in the playoffs?
I bet so, yeah.
Because, that could, you never know about that. That could probably hurt one of these teams. It's going to hurt one of these teams, I'm sure, defensively.
But my point would be,
I get it, yeah.
Games since the Big Ten championship, right? And this will be your first game, and it'll be practically a month.
Right.
Off. And it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go crazy here and say Oregon goes down to Ohio State.
Goodness. That is crazy. Because I've got Oregon.
Revenge game. They get it done. Ryan Day saves his job. He's not going anywhere. They'd be stupid to let him go. But Ohio State gets Oregon, I think, in the second round.
I've got Tennessee, obviously, over Ohio State, but I don't think it matters. I'm going Oregon over both of them any day of the week.
If you love running the football, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl will be the place where you've got Penn State and Boise State, according to both of our brackets. I'm going Penn State. Andy Koltanecki's creativity, able to get it done against Boise State, who does have a great running back. But look, Penn State goes up against great running backs in practice every single time. They'll find a way to limit Ashton Gentry to just over 100 yards, and it won't burn him too badly.
I'm with you.
Penn State on to the Final Four. And then Georgia and Indiana. I tell you, the Dogs are going to be without Carson Beck. I don't know if that's a humongous loss or a humongous gain. Carson Beck.
You got Indiana?
No, I've got Notre Dame.
Okay.
Sorry. Notre Dame and the winner, but Notre Dame, Indiana, excuse me. So Notre Dame and Georgia facing off there. I don't know.
I've got Georgia.
I've honestly not been highly impressed with Georgia's play this year. To this,
they win football games though, and I think that I've got Georgia,
and they've been in these situations a lot more. So Georgia over that, and so you've got Georgia, Penn State. And then your side, you've got Oregon and Arizona State, an old Pac-12 game.
Correct.
In the Cotton Bowl, which is on January 9th. Or sorry, that's January 10th, excuse me. So who's making to your national championship game?
God. Every part of me wants to pick Arizona State.
Oh my gosh, get off his brain.
I love Arizona State. I love Arizona State, and they are having fun on the football team. I think that they're a really good team, and I think that everyone's given up on them already, and no one thought that they were going to win it all this year.
That's true, because they won't.
Bottom of the Big 12, and they didn't finish the bottom of the Big 12. I'm going to pick Oregon, but if Arizona State upsets Oregon, I'm going to be the one that comes on the show with a smile on my face because you told me to get off the train of Arizona State. But I really do think that this is going to be a very, very good game. And I think every game Arizona State plays in this playoff is going to be fun and a must-watch. But I do have Oregon. I have Oregon.
Until they get blown out by Texas. And then
they're not getting blown out by Texas. They're going to beat Clemson. They're going to beat Clemson. That's what's going to happen. They're going to beat Clemson in the second round.
I've got Ohio State and Texas in the Cotton Bowl. There will be a heavy contingency of Texas fans there. I still think Ohio State is the highest paid roster in all of college football. And when a game actually matters, which national championship games and semifinals should, I've got Ohio State winning it, going to the national title game.
Their Michigan game doesn't matter. Their biggest rivalry doesn't matter to them, and that's why they lost.
It's a weird world we live in, my friend. It's a weird world.
Yeah. All right. So you have Ohio State beating Oregon.
Yep.
Okay. I have Georgia beating Penn
State and Georgia, and give me the Dogs.
Give me the Dogs, and then give me the Duckaroos to win the championship. I think they've just been unstoppable all year. I think they're clear-cut the best team. Look, I mean, I'd be completely fine with being wrong if the Oregon wins it all. I'd love to see a fun team come in and win. That's not a 1 seed, but that being said, I think it'd be crazy to not have Oregon winning a championship because they have just been dominant all year long. They've got the system, they've got the players, they've got a fun offense to watch. Look, they don't throw the ball deep, but
Oregon is the best team. Oregon is the best team, and they probably should win it all. To be completely honest with you,
right?
They should win it all. They've got the best team, and they should get it. There's so many things that we just don't know that make this so hard to predict. being the first ever college football playoff like this, because we just don't know, what does that bye do? Are you come out rested and recharged and you're going to play great, or do you struggle? And that opens the door for a team to knock you off that shouldn't. That's a big question mark. Like we've seen that before, like those play-in games in the college basketball and the NCAA tournament, those teams that play the play-in games make it to the Sweet 16, 9 out of 10 times, because they kind of get that first game jitters out of the way and they carry that in.
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit, considering who the opponents are going to be for Oregon. It's just not a great draw for them, but they are the best team, and they probably should be the national champs when it's all said and done. But I just don't know. That's fascinating.
I've got thoughts, but I've got thoughts, but I feel like we gotta get this.
I would love to see Penn State make it and James Franklin win the national championship. How hilarious would that be? Just because everyone talks about how he doesn't win the big one.
It's because he doesn't.
And he doesn't. You're right. But what if he got it done in the first ever big time college football playoff?
No thanks.
That'd be hilarious.
Boring. That'd be so boring. I don't want to see James Frank. I don't want to see Ryan Day. I don't want to see.
You want to see Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State play for a national title? That's what you want.
Who doesn't want to see that? Who doesn't want to see that? Cam Scatterby? Are you kidding me?
Just
you mean Scatterby and Genty in the championship? Is that possible?
Just be realistic.
I'm being realistic. I'm 100% being realistic. They're a great team.
Just be realistic. That's all you got to say. Be realistic on that. So, all right. I will take. I think I've got Ohio State and Georgia in the national championship. I'm taking Ohio State. Why not? They've made it this far. They get it done. I don't love it. I don't love my pick.
All right. So one of our brackets is going to be busted after week 1.
Fine. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I got no money on it. I just want to see. I'm more fascinated on how this all plays out. That's what I want to see.
Yep.
Fascinated to see that. All right. We're way past due on our first segment, as we usually are. But this one's actually exceptional.
This one's really far past.
Let's take a break. Come back. Some interesting news when it comes to junior college athletics. That's next for the Morning Blitz.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, December 20th. And on the overnight, March corn higher 3 1/4 at 4.44. May up 3 1/2 to 4.49 3/4. July up 3 1/4 at 4.52 1/2. September corn up 2 1/4 at 4.33 1/4. January soybeans up 7 1/4 on the overnight to 9.70 1/4. March up 7 1/2 at 9.74. May up 8 cents at 9.83. July up 8 at 9.93. Chicago wheat, the March contract lower 1/4 cent at 5.32 3/4. May unchanged at 5.43 1/2. July unchanged at 5.51. September up 1/4 at 5.64 1/2. Kansas City wheat, the March contract higher 1 1/4 at 5.44 1/2. May up 1 1/2 at 5.52 1/2. July up 1 1/4 at 5.16 1/4. September hard wheat up a cent at 5.72 1/2. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down 133 at 42,663. The S&P down $32 at 5,902. The Nasdaq down 165 at 21,213. Gold higher $17 an ounce at 2,625. Crude oil down 61 cents a barrel at 68.77. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
The only competition that really matters is you versus you. And with the performance of Veltima fungicide from BASF, you can take your best results even further. Veltima fungicide is on your side to out-yield the competition by an average of 7 bushels per acre. but you've never been average. Beat your own record, get every bushel you deserve, and make this your best season yet with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Imagine having 86% more days with perfect weather. Imagine having an extra 4 hours every morning or a combine that's 86% more powerful. That's the feeling of a Revitec fungicide harvest. Revitec is proven to outperform the competition 86% of the time, providing up to 9.5 more bushels per acre. It's the #1 recommended choice by growers. Visit Revitec.com and look forward to a future that's 86% more secure. Always read and follow label directions.
Lore Electric is your local expert. When you visit with Zach at Lore Electric, he'll tell you they can do anything, at least when it comes to electrical work. Lore Electric is your local expert. From replacing lights in your home to LEDs to save money to even setting up power to grain bins on the farm. No matter if it's residential, commercial, or agricultural, Lore Electric is your local expert. Contact them today and see how Zach and his crew can help with your electrical needs, because they do more at Lore.
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
Your daily dose of sports.
Max is certainly thinking I've eaten a lot of paint chips according to my college football playoff bracket. That's
mine's a little crazier. I'll admit mine's a little crazier.
It's because you're picking with your heart and hoping that Cam Scattaboo, which, by the way, great running back for Arizona State, can carry them. And as cool as it would be to see, you got to go where the money leads you.
I think they can beat Clemson. I don't know if they can beat Texas.
No. We'll see what happens.
We will.
Interesting article. Have you got a chance to dive into this article much?
Yes.
I've had it out there. I mean, this is a fascinating article for those who have not seen. I've had some people actually text me about it too, which continues to drive my interest in this article. So news came out a couple days ago about Vanderbilt quarterback Davia, am I forgetting his first name? Diego Pavia, who had a fantastic season at Vanderbilt, and wanted to come back to Vanderbilt, wanted to come back to college for another year. And so a judge in Tennessee granted an injunction on Wednesday to allow him to pursue another year of eligibility. And pretty much Pavia was claiming in November that the organization's rule counts a player's time in junior college towards his overall years of eligibility, and that he says that it is a violation of the antitrust law that is unfairly limiting his ability to make money from his name, image, and likeness. Now, this is not a final ruling on the case, but because it is in court, it prevents the NCAA from keeping Pavia out of college football until this case is resolved, which who knows could be a year or two before it all gets done. So pretty much what they're saying is, if you were a junior college player and you went there for 2 years, those 2 years don't have to count towards your 4 years of college athletic eligibility. That's pretty much the black and white color. That's pretty much the black and white of this whole article is. Pavia is trying to prove that because you can't make money, that he should get his 4 years entirely to be able to make money in NIL. Where it used to be, and K-State fans know this probably better than anybody, you would go and get a player from Coffeyville or Garden City, Bill Snyder would, and they'd have 2 years of eligibility remaining and then play those 2 years at Kansas State. They'd graduate, either go to the pros or continue on with their lives. Now what they're trying to say is now you can go to junior college for 2 years, then go to whatever Division I school you want to and play for another 4 years, so you could have 6 years of eligibility because you're not playing Division I football. It does not count towards your years of eligibility. Your 4 years. This to me is just, it's once again, we've talked about slippery slopes on this show before here this week. This is just an extremely slippery slope that is just getting iced over and iced over and iced over. And it is leading down a path of total destruction. It absolutely is. You can see coaches are already saying, what in the world? We're going to have guys who are going to be 28, 29 years old that are not from BYU, mind you, that are going to be playing college football, because they can get all this extra time to play. I mean, we already have, and COVID has already hurt this a lot because of all the time that is spent. I think after this next year, we're finally going to get all the COVID cases gone. The classes of COVID are gone. And so now you can kind of get back to that. But then this adds another layer to it, where now if you're a junior college player and it doesn't count, if it's not going to do that. I mean, my goodness, The rules allow you to play allow for a total of 5 years to play 4 seasons. But the current crop of college players been granted an extra year on top of those because of the pandemic. And Pavia argued in his initial complaint the NCAA was unfairly limiting his ability to make money by counting his years in junior college, which are governed by a separate organization, against his eligibility.
I'm not for it.
Oh, I'm not for it either. I mean,
look, it's too many years of college. It's too many years of college, and all these guys that are in the NFL are like can't like. This is my favorite example is Cam Rising. Cam Rising and Trevor Lawrence graduated high school the same year.
That's right.
They graduated in 2017. Trevor Lawrence next year will be going into his 5th year in the NFL. Cam Rising is going to be playing his, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th year of college football. Just because you can't make the NFL, I don't feel like you should just be able to stick around and play college football. I just don't get it.
Cam Rising is a different situation. A lot of injuries have hurt him. That's his problem.
There needs to be some finer lines, is I think what needs to happen in the NCAA.
There needs to be more, not finer lines, thicker lines. There needs to be lines drawn.
They've got no lines at all right now.
This is the thing, and we can't go super long on this topic.
No.
Here is the biggest thing that I say. I continue to say this. What was wrong with what was being done before?
The money?
What was wrong? I don't get it. What college athletics are playing with absolute fire. They're rolling in money left and right, but you continue to screw up what got you to this point and do it differently, you're going to mess with the bag. It's going to happen. Maybe not short term, but it's going to happen in the long term. They need to get this corrected pronto. You don't need college football to be a minor league type of, I know it kind of is essentially, but they don't need it to be a minor league deal where a guy can stay there as long as he wants. That's not how it's supposed to be. You can't have that happen.
No. Absolutely.
College athletics, first of all, and it's a student athlete, it's supposed to be about getting your degree, not just playing sports. But it doesn't matter anymore. The NCAA is completely thrown in the towel. And why not? I really honestly can't blame them after all the complaining that people have done. For just fine, here, let the world burn. And they are, and it is burning. The problem is people are continuing to poke holes in all the system, and that's fine. It's a deflating balloon that just continues to get holes poked in it. But this is a big time issue. If you're a junior college player, I mean, I get it. If you're Diego Pavia, you're not going to go play you're not going to go play professional football. You're not good enough to go play. So why in the world can I not go and play 4 years of college ball and make my money there that I can make? I get it. I understand it. It just is not right. It just is not correct.
It's not. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, just because you can't be a top draft pick in the NFL doesn't mean you should be able to just stick around and play against 20-year-olds, even though you're 26, and it just doesn't. I don't get it. And there needs to be some lines to these things. There needs to be.
Well, I don't know the rules and the lawyers and all this stuff. I loved it. A few years ago, they made, before this whole came crashing down, the NCAA made a few changes, which I thought were good. They allowed the grad transfer. Remember that? So if you were a young man and you went to college, or a woman, if you went to college for a year, you went to college and you got your degree and you graduated in your 4 years, you could then transfer with no penalty to another school for 1 additional year and have a grad transfer year. Russell Wilson is the prime example of that. He was at NC State. He went there for 4 years. He transferred and grad transferred to Wisconsin, where he could work on his master's for a year, and then he went pro. That was a great rule. Liked that rule. It's still one, even though it doesn't matter anymore, but that was a great rule. The 4-game redshirt rule, where you could play up to 4 games, but not a 5th, and you could keep your redshirt to play again. So you didn't burn. You could play in 4 games and in the bowl game, and it would not count as a year of eligibility. That was another good rule that they came up with. But ever since then, there have been holes poked in the system, and it's going to absolutely destroy college athletics. It will. It will destroy it.
Yep. I'm with
very,
you.
very sad. They have to find a way to get this. They have to find a way to get some guardrails put back up. And the only way they're going to do that is with collective bargaining, and that's going to be super hard to do.
Yeah.
They have to find a way to get some guardrails put up, because It's the wild, wild west in college athletics. Look at the transfer portal of guys. Have you seen those graphics of transfer portal guys? It's like this guy started South Carolina. He went to Kentucky. He's now going to Wisconsin.
There's a picture of a guy that went viral of a guy, I believe, transferring to Penn State with a picture. His profile picture is him at like Arizona State, and he has a tattoo of a Georgia Bulldogs logo on his left shoulder. It's ridiculous.
It's just stupid. So dumb. Please get this figured out. Please.
It's going to take a lot.
It will. It's going to take so much. I mean, I can't imagine.
It feels irreversible.
I mean, I'm guessing junior colleges love this because they're like, hey, come here. It's not going to count towards your eligibility. Come here, work it, develop yourself, and then go play for 4 years. I mean, come on now. There was nothing wrong with the system that was. Nothing wrong. There were some problems, but it wasn't. You have created way more problems trying to solve some things.
The NCAA did come out with a statement saying they don't like this.
Well, of course, they don't like NIL either.
Well, but they were disappointed, and they're like, this is something that we've overwhelmingly said no to. And so as far as an NCAA change, it doesn't seem like that's in the books.
Well,
but who knows? It might not be up to them, I guess.
They have to start getting the guardrails put up and getting some things put together. They have to in some form or fashion, or a commissioner needs to get put in. They have to start making some changes. Everything that's great about college athletics that's built up to the monster that it is today, because it wasn't always like this, obviously. Give it if you go like this for another 10 to 15, 20 years, it will fall. People will not be interested in it as much. Almost guaranteed. And then you're losing the money from the television revenue, and then you're back to a problem that you don't want to have, and you don't have enough money to do what you want to do. So we're going to find out how that all works. Okay, let's get to break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up our final segment next here on the Morning Blitz, talking some local sports.
Merry Christmas from the Farmers State Bank in Oakley. We invite you to stop into our lobby for coffee and cookies throughout the month of December as our small way of saying thank you to our loyal customers. We appreciate your business in 2024 and throughout our 117 years of community banking and look forward to serving you in the new year. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
The year-end clearance is on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Save big on remaining hail vehicles like a 2024 GMC 2500 with some hail repaired. You can still take an additional $8,000 off. Or drive away in a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 and save up to $8,500 off, including rebates on lightly hailed units. Plus, enjoy 0% financing for up to 36 months on select new GMC and Chevrolet vehicles. These deals won't last long. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC today or shop online at hurlchev.com and wrap up the year with incredible savings.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
with Ross Volkmer.
Couple minutes left to go on the show here today. We mentioned kicking off the show. Very busy sports weekend as it is the final one before the holiday break and the winter moratorium. Today, you've got the Goodland Girls Holiday Classic. Lots of area teams will be coming to the Max Jones Fieldhouse. All today, Hoxie boys wrestling against Clay Center. I think it's in a duel. Saturday, you've got the Goodland boys, their Holiday Classic. Once again, lots of area teams will be coming as well to compete from Colorado. I think Nebraska's probably running, and then a lot of Goodland or Kansas schools coming to the Holiday Classic. You've got Decatur Community Boys and Girls Wrestling at Cambridge Saturday, Cambridge, Nebraska. Rollins County's going to Sutherland, Nebraska for a tournament. And then Colby Community College, Fort Hays Tech Northwest wrestlers getting some action before the holidays. They're going to Northern Colorado's quad duels. And so lots of good wrestling. By I would love to get my hands on one of those Holiday Classic T-shirts that they got made up. They are awesome. It's like Santa picking up and body slamming a reindeer. It's great. I love it. I think it's great. I need to get my hands on one of those T-shirts. The Holiday Classic Wrestling T-shirts. Those things are sweet.
That's fantastic.
And then basketball-wise, you've got Golden Plains playing back-to-back nights. Remember, they took down St. Francis last night, both in boys and girls. They host Wheatland Grinnell tonight. You've got Decatur Community versus Trigo, Wallace County at Dighton, Greeley County hosting Quinter, Shiloh hosts Logan Palco, Tri-Plains Brewster at Western Plains, Hoxie's heading to Hill City, Oakley takes on Smith Center in a Mid-Connolly game, Rollins County taking on Hitchcock County, Nebraska, and then you've got Colby at Cimarron and Goodland at Hugoton. What are you looking for tonight, Max, down in Cimarron?
Well, I'm looking for a lot of things, mostly just the boys bouncing back after 2 straight losses, see how they play, because they've lost their touch a little bit in the last 2 games, obviously going up against very, very good basketball teams here in the GWAC, but I think they've got a good chance tonight against Cimarron to bounce back. I'm interested to see who that third scorer really is going to be. Someone needs to get more aggressive on this offense. I'm interested to see who that is. Also, just fun fact, Cimarron, they've got my favorite name in the entire GWAC on their team, Adonis Batman. That is by far the greatest name I've ever heard in my life.
Fortunately, Donnie doesn't play a whole lot, but in fact, I don't think he played at all in the opener, but he does have a great name, Adonis Batman.
Great name. It doesn't even matter. That's just such a great name. I love seeing that on the roster. Anyway, but I'm excited.
Trace Copper is their best player, and he's a good player. I love once again underrated. Doesn't get because they haven't had a lot of success at Cimarron for the previous few years, but Trace Copper is a dude. He could play at almost any GLAC for any school in the GWAC. He's good.
Yeah, and then I'm excited, the girls just to see them just continue to play with fire like they did on Tuesday. Out against Holcomb, so I hope they
should have no issue. They should be able to dip into the bench a little bit tonight and play some younger players and build some depth.
I love watching their style of basketball. I really do. I think they just play a really good brand and they play together really well. So excited.
You play together for 4 years. This is what happens. You don't have the transfer portal. You can build great chemistry like that.
Well, you can build great chemistry if you play for 8 years together too.
Yeah, that's true. No, there needs to be a cutoff. There needs to be you need to move on.
Is it going to get to high school? Is it going to get to the high school level?
No, you got to kick
You're going to get extra
out of the house. You have to kick the kids out of the house at some point in time. They just can't be living there.
I think I still have 2 years left of high school eligibility. I'm going to go back and play some more baseball by North High School. So
yeah, go hit one off the wall. There you go. Go hit one off the wall. Tonight, Goodland will visit Hugoton tonight, which we got the long. I'd say I don't know. Marty Lehman did not do a great job with the schedule. I'm joking, Marty, but trips to Cimarron, trips to Scott City, trips to Hugoton before the Christmas break. At least we get this all out of the way.
Out of the way. That's great.
But I guess
because I got to come back and go to Hugoton.
That's true. You do. Hugoton girls, it's amazing. That's a 4A school, but they only have 9 girls out for basketball. They do not have now Emmanuel Adigan, who is a coach that took them to multiple state tournaments and multiple finals and brought them some hardware, is back after a year sabbatical. I don't know why he took a year off, but he's back. And he's the head coach, and he's a very, very good head coach. I think he's like 106-41, but he doesn't have much roster depth, but he's got 2 freshmen that are very, very good. I think it's a Miley Lewis and a Villegas girl, Natalie Villegas, that are freshmen, and they're pretty good, and they lead this team. And so they're building for the future in Hugoton. I think if the Cowgirls, who once again had a great second half down at Scott City, if they can come out and play with that intensity like they did in the second half, I think they can get a win on the road in Hugoton. In the boys game, it's fascinating. Hugoton, a lot like their girls program, has had a ton of success over the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, they've played for state titles. Good point. Sorry, Marty just chimed in. I appreciate that. Oh, that Marty said we had to move it. It was originally scheduled for here, but because of wrestling, had to move it. Makes sense. Thank you, Marty.
Wow.
You're a brilliant man, and we thank you for the input. But anyway, Hugoton this year, Hugoton had a great senior class last year. Great senior class. They graduated a lot of those guys. They finished state runners-up last year. They were state champs 2 years ago. I mean, they're really, really good. Great program. Trey O'Neill is a great coach, as pretty much all the coaches are in the GWAC, to be honest with you. But this year's team, it's just not as talent heavy. So they aren't going to go out there and wow you with their talent, but they're still going to go out there and play extremely hard with their hair on fire. They do that a lot. They don't really have a superstar scorer, I don't think. They haven't at least proven at this point in time, but they're going to go out there and play hard on both ends of the floor. So, and it's hard to win at Hugoton. The Cowboys had a chance to do it last year, but could not get it done. and lost in overtime down there in Hugoton. And if the Hugoton Eagle boys are the 6-time defending GWAC champs. So if you're going to knock off the champs tonight, it would be a big step towards trying to capture a GWAC title. So if you're trying to get to a GWAC title, I should say, if you're the Cowboys, you got it. This is a big step in doing it. And once again, I think Goodland is the better team on paper, but you're on the road. It's a long road trip. You don't know exactly what could happen. That place can get a little crazy with how the games go from time to time. We've seen it many a times down there in Hugoton. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. But if the Cowboys go out there and play like they have against everybody else, once again, beating their average opponents by 27 points per game through their first 5 contests, I don't see why the Cowboys can't get a win tonight. But you don't want to, you don't want to count your chickens. But I expect, once again, long bus trip, but I expect the Cowboys and Cowgirls go down there and have some good games. I would expect that. So anyway, there you go. Some high school basketball to wrap up before the winter break and winter moratorium. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
As we talked about earlier in the week, Hollywood Brown is set to go for Saturday. So is Patrick Mahomes. He's ready to roll. There will be no DJ Humphreys. He is sidelined with a hamstring injury. Joe Tooney's going to be back at left tackle this week again for the Chiefs. They play on Saturday, by the way, folks. 11 a.m. is when they kick off. You can hear coverage on 100.3 The Ride. And don't forget, we got college basketball this weekend as well, kind of after the finals break. You've got K-State and Wichita State. Boy, there's a need-a-win type game. Both teams coming off tough losses. That's Saturday at 6 Central Time, 100.3 The Ride. And then you've got Kansas hosting Brown, 2 Central Time on Flower Country 97.9. That's on Sunday. Then you got Colorado hosting Bellarmine Saturday, and Nebraska takes on Murray State from the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii on Sunday night. What are you looking for the rest of the weekend?
Chiefs Texans. Let's get it going. Let's get this end of the year rolling. Let's win these last 3. Let's get it going. Let's get this offense going. Hollywood Brown hopefully makes an impact. Go Chiefs, rock chalk. Let's get it.
Once again, catch Max tonight on 100.3 The Ride. He'll have coverage of Colby and Cimarron there from Cimarron. And, of course, right here on Rocket 102.5, we're going to catch the Cowboys and the Cowgirls as they take on Hugoton. We are back on Monday. Have yourself a great, safe weekend. We will see you then. Until then, enjoy the college football playoff, which gets going tonight, and the great football ahead. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you on Monday on The Blitz.